And we are back. This is going to be the last reading for today. We're going to read for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of April 2026. And we're going to be using good old trusty dusty Rider-Waite Tarot. So, as we see here, this is basically one of the most famous, if not the most famous deck out of the whole bunch. We'll also use a couple of oracle decks as well to clarify the other aspects of this particular reading. And as we're going to go through this, just like to say, I guess off the bat, if you like what you see here, just support the channel, like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, comment below, and do other things. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and look into Leo's readings. And I do apologize if I'm a bit low energy. It's quite late where I am, and I'm just getting the readings done. But we will carry on, and we will do this to the best of our ability. And the reason why is because I wanted to save the best for last. So looking at the reading that you have here, I see like quite a good reading for you Leos. So that's very good. I'm very happy about that. A positive reading where we can kind of reflect on something that's going to go in the right direction. So that said, we talk about the recent past. We look into the Empress, which was in the recent past. And this is clarified by the Three of Pentacles. So this was a time in which you were growing your opportunities, doing your best to try to attract something. Normally, the Empress is someone who is fertile, usually giving birth to ideas, concepts, things, possibly even real people. And by doing so, expanding, moving forward, using the skills and talents that you have to create new opportunities. So that's kind of what I get from this particular energy right off the bat. And to clarify that, I got the Knight of Wands in the reverse. So that takes quite a different turn on all of this, because Knight of Wands in the reverse is usually like someone who's kind of you know, what they used to say back in the early, I mean, the mid, late noughties or so, was like they were wiling out, soiling the royal oats. So maybe this was a period in which you were kind of using your attraction to have a good time, get out there and sling it around. Let me clarify that one more. Clarify the recent past. Okay. I have the Nine of Wands here. Knight of Wands in the reverse. Maybe, I mean, okay, I'm just going to say what I feel. Maybe this will shed some light on it, at least from a specific angle that relates to a specific Leo out there. I see a person going around collecting bodies and using their charm, their ability to manifest to get those things. I see here, when we look at these two cards, we see a Knight of Wands in the reverse, Nine of Wands in the upright. So this is kind of like a person who's hurt, guarded, wounded warrior, and trying their best to achieve a goal, but they may not have the right direction in getting it. So rather than thinking about the sexual aspects of this, we can see a person who is working on achieving something, getting something off the ground, using what they have to create a system of abundance for them. And however, they're doing this from a place where they feel that they have not created a proper sense of direction. Or maybe with the way that this person in the Nine of Wands are looking at the Knight of Wands in the reverse, they're protecting themselves from people who carry this energy where they themselves are not very straightforward or, you know, focused or centered. So it's almost like you as a Leo are looking at all of the times in which you misdirected your energies, and you're saying to yourself, okay, how do we redirect this into something that's going to grow for the long term? And how do we find that opportunity that we need that's going to be more long term rather than something that's just a fly by night, you know, either a connection or particularly a job or things of that nature. So what you've done in the current is you've decided to go on a journey to try to discover what that thing is. And you're doing it from a place where your heart is actually connected to that, to that transition. Clarify present energy. Yep. So you put a lot of work and a lot of effort into this. You have decided to put the energy into it that you needed to put into it, so that way you could accomplish this goal. So if it's work related again, it can manifest as someone saying, okay, I'm gathering all of these resources, gathering all these connections. Now I'm just going to hit it hard. I'm going to go out there, apply for these jobs, go out there, try to date and see if I can find someone who's the right person. Try to go ahead and start putting in the work to writing a book or to doing other things that are going to be like a long-term goal for me. And by doing this, is showing that you are really putting forth the effort to make this happen. Clarify, yeah. You've also been putting in quite a bit of time to research and to see the fruits of your labor actually come into fruition. And additionally, you're doing your best to try to make sure that you're learning from the process. You're learning from the entire process. When I look at some of these cards and I try to clarify more of them, you have the Eight of Pentacles, and it's almost like you have this Page of Swords looking down at the man here who is putting in the work. So you may actually be studying what it is that you're trying to accomplish and achieve, so that way you can get better results. And I think by doing that, that is going to help you to refine your skill and your craft and really hone in on the things that you really are working on, so that way you can give them at the utmost quality. So near future, you have this, which is excellent. It's a new start, Nine of Cups. Yep. So after putting in all the work, you are then moving into a space and where you see that new start, and it is kind of a wish fulfillment. So that's an excellent space to be in. And that's an excellent part of the reading that we can pull from this. Bye-bye, near future. There you go. Bossing up. Got the Emperor right here. This is an Aries card, so if you have Aries in your chart, that would actually resonate with you quite a bit. And additionally, let's see what else we can pull. Then you have the Hermit. So I see you finally getting through a period in which you have said to yourself, I've finally gotten what I needed. I'm going to do my best to hold the fort, to preserve it. And by doing that, I need to go within in order for me to discover what it is that I'm truly working on. What are my motivations? This is kind of like my psychoanalysis card. When we have the Hermit, it's a person going in to understand their own inner light. And they're pulling themselves away from the humdrum and the dross of all of the things that are taking place around them, so that they can then step into an energy where they themselves fully understand what it is that they're doing. And that in turn moves to the next part of the phase, which we'll get into in just a second. So these are very, very powerful cards that show I've achieved what I wanted. Now it's time for me to reflect on that. So that way we can kind of catalog what it is that we've achieved and accomplished throughout this period. Excellent, very excellent reading. We then come into this part of the reading. So as the outcome, Wheel of Fortune, Judgment, covering up the boobs, and then the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm going to clarify this Four of Pentacles in the reverse. So, damn it. Turn around. We have 10 of Pentacles. This is excellent. So we have that. We look at long-term growth, long-term stability, things that we want. With that Four of Pentacles in the reverse there, we're finally saying we're letting go. We're going to finally go for the full Monty here, the full, the whole 9 yards, as they would say in the States. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands. So this is a really, really positive reading, I would say, for you, Leos. That's an excellent direction that you're taking yourself in, whatever it is that you're doing with yourself and whatever positivity that you've brought into your life. I think that's something that you should explore and to catalog and to understand so that you can teach others about it as well. And this is for the first time, like in quite a long time. This is a very positive reading for Leos as well. I know the people always get run through it. Like the Aquarians, in all my readings, the Aquarians are acting like, I always say, like, you got to turn your life around, don't do it, get off the ledge and stuff like that. With the Scorpios, it's always about something sexual. And then with Leos, it's always been about trying to build something new that's going to help, the line in question to try to achieve a particular goal. And you are the Strength card in the tarot. So one of those things about Strength card is you have infinite reserves that will allow you to achieve the goal that you are looking for. And by putting that energy into it, I kind of look at the Leos as being kind of like a nuclear reactor. They're able to perpetually produce the energy needed to get something accomplished. And by doing so, that's how you get to that promised, positivity and results. So with all of those things taking shape, you have this really strong judgment call. Things are going to work out for you. And additionally, you're going to get to that Ten of Pentacles. You're going to finally let go of any reservations and get into building that legacy for yourself. Because what we have here, the card clarifying this, is the Six of Diamonds, which is the Six of Pentacles, and the Torino deck, which is kind of like basically playing cards. And then that's going to, in turn, allow yourself to have a sense of harmony when it comes to the things that you have in your physical or material world. With the Six of Pentacles, it's always talking about giving and receiving. And so you knowing when to give and when to receive, when to put effort into something and when to take effort out, to kind of reflect on it. That's how you're going to build that positivity. And so with some of the cards that are talking about the oracle message, we do have this one. The first one is the Alchemy of Poison. So going into this card, and I'll probably talk about this a little bit more later, but when we have the Alchemy of Poison, we think about Archangel Samael, which I feel doesn't get enough credit. You always look at the person or the individual that's demonized in a group, and then you figure out what they have been doing with themselves to get themselves in that position. So Samael, which in Kabbalah, which in Judaism and other kind of related systems, literally translates to the venom of God. That could be the venom of a spider, the venom of a serpent, a scorpion, things of that nature. Venom breaks things down so that an insect or a predator can digest them. So by injecting venom into a situation, it allows things to be broken down into their purest form and their most useful form for something else. So when we talk about that, it is about the transformational aspects, the lessons that you're learning. We also talk about the choices that we make and how we can make healthier choices by avoiding the negative choices in the past. And then also radical forgiveness. So I personally ascribe to Archangel Samael, as we see this rock of obsidian here, which I keep on the altar, because it reminds me of the alchemic process that I interject within all of the readings here. And this is the archangel also of Jungian psychology, integrating the shadow with the light and being able to come to terms with both aspects in order for you to become more authentic, more holistic, and to heal yourself from negativity from the past. So it's not about, I think throughout the ages, when certain characters are introduced, oftentimes for the dramatis personae, to carry on throughout a particular pantheon of deities, you know, it feels like they have to kind of change it up so that the people are different or they're more obscene or such and such. You've seen the Marvel Universe and you see how that works. But I'll go into this in more detail in probably a separate kind of rant or whatever I want to call it. But that is what the alchemy of poison talks about. It's about breaking things down and then building them back up again. Oftentimes, in order for an animal to eat, it has to break another animal down in order for it to receive sustenance. The second card, we have education, power, and power persuasion, communication, internal dialogue. So this is every word has power. So probably in the recent past, when you were trying to achieve this goal, you had to learn the art of communication, and this in turn helped you to network with the right people, to achieve the right things, get the right goals achieved at time, in the right space of time. And doing so allowed you to become focused, centered, grounded, and additionally to measure the milestones that you achieved. Oftentimes, again, as I speak to people in project management, the things that allow you to successfully complete a project is be able to break things down to separate milestones so that you know whether to evaluate whether to continue going or to pull back or to reallocate resources and things of that nature. So with the two of these together, because you did have two oracle cards come out, I see this as you're now looking at your ability to transform your life from a place of lack, of negativity, of difficulty, break that structure down and rebuild it. It's kind of like the Tower card. Completely destroy what is old and bring in the new. And that is precisely what this channel is about. It's about making sure that we recognize how to transfer, how to transmute that negative into a positive. And that's what the obsidian is about. So that said, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm about to pass out. But once again, this is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining. And as always, love and light.